Bren's away this weekend, so it's me, the dog, and the cats hanging out. I used to absolutely dread him going away because I just found eating on my own so much more difficult. It's almost like I needed him there to like justify my calories, like make it okay. I really wanted to be able to do it on my own. Like, it's odd to have to share it on Instagram or make sure someone's seen or like be with someone to be able to eat, but it honestly did make it a lot more difficult for me. And I know not everybody gets that. Like, some people have it the other way around, like they can eat on their own, but when other people are there, they really struggle. But yeah, that's not what I had. Oh yes, lots of kisses. That's nice. But yeah, I don't really feel like that as much anymore. And I had some really hard weekends where he went away and I had to like force myself to do it for myself. But now that I've done that, I guess I can do both now. Like, I can eat with him, I can let him cook for me. Whoa! What's that? Is that the next door neighbour? But yeah, I can also eat on my own, which, like, I guess being able to do both is healthy. Don't fall off the table. Okay, oopsie. Betty. So cute, let me show you. Fetch. Good boy, is that for me? Ready? Fetch. So I'm really tired tonight. It's not even been that long a week, I'm just knackered. I was going to make chicken pasta pesto for dinner, but I don't really have much food in and I can't really be bothered to go to a shop, so I'm tempted to just get a takeaway. It sounds like a really small thing, but that was like a massive goal in my recovery. Brendan used to do it all the time if I was out. He'd get himself a takeaway and I would be so jealous. But I could just never do it for myself. Like, I couldn't justify spending the money or the extra calories. I just didn't kind of think I deserved it on my own, but like, it's so what I want to be able to do. And I do have a bit of a niggle in my head, like, oh, you really need someone there to enjoy it with if you're going to have that. But then I don't think Brendan needs to. I want to be able to do that sort of thing on my own. Like, it's definitely the life I ultimately want to live. And I've spent so long in that life of like saving things up, denying myself things, having like rules and rigidities. And it actually just made me like really kind of lonely and sad, which is not how I want to live. It's not the person that I want to be, is it? I want to be a takeaway on my own kind of person. Stop biting me. Yeah, maybe I'll have a little look at the takeaway menu. I'm recording on my phone, so I'm just gonna have to stop so I can see it. I've switched to my camera, but it does some weird thing with these lines. I don't know why that happens, sorry. Anyway, I'm on Deliveroo. Sushi, no. It's kind of cold here at the moment. I don't feel like it's sushi weather. German doner kebab. I could go for a kebab. I've done that before. Italian, maybe pasta. Fish and chips. Oh my God, I would love fish and chips. I've actually been craving fish and chips for ages, but it's kind of like one of my hardest takeaways. Noodles. Noodles would be nice. What's happening, crazy pants? This dog's going nuts. There's one called Under 500, which is really annoying. I guess under 500 calories. Anyway, it's not for me. Oh my God, that is so weird. It's like a disco on my phone. German doner kebab. Oh, for fuck's sake. There's like a K-cal option with the calories. From only 585 calories and 42 grams of protein. For God's sake. Right, Meg. Block the thoughts. Opposite actions. Live the life you ultimately want to live. I don't want to be controlled by this shit. Fucking hell, this has turned out to be way harder than I expected it to be. Okay, just get the regular. Doner kebab mix. Okay, done. On the disco phone. Right. I've come to take Bertie for a walk as distraction until the food arrives, so I don't just sit around and dwell on it. I still am getting some thoughts that I should have got noodles. Like, I feel like it would have been a healthier option. Like, I don't know, there would have been more veggies in it. The meat might have been a bit healthier. The sauce would have been lower calorie. Like, this is what's going through my head. This is where I say to myself, like, live the life you ultimately want to live. Like, even if I don't want to do it right now, because it like feels hard and uncomfortable, but like, ultimately, I want to be a person that can get whatever takeaway I want if Brendan goes away for a weekend and not have to balance up like healthiness versus calories versus cost versus this versus that. Like, bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. It's here. I think Bertie can smell it. Not for you, dog. Absolutely banging. I'm gonna eat this, watch The Crown, and fucking ignore any thoughts that I'm getting. Because it's fine, food is just food, and this is delicious. That was actually nowhere near as bad as I expected it to be, so now I want something sweet.
That's good.
So I've just got back from breakfast with some friends and the dog. What did I have? I had like an avocado and scrambled egg dish with feta cheese and some kind of basil oil dribbled over the top, which would have been my absolute worst nightmare at the start of my recovery, like extra calories poured on my food. But I'm so glad I can just order straight from the menu now and like eat things just as they come. And I'm just dropping the dog home and then I'm going for a mummies to be massage. I've booked a 90-minute one, which I literally cannot wait. Like, I feel like I'm really treating myself. I'm 7 months pregnant now, like a massage is definitely in order. Something that's changed so much in my recovery is that I like really enjoy my free time now. Just feel like I've got so much stuff that I want to do. Like I've got a book that I'm reading at the moment, play my piano, play with the dog, like have a bath. I don't know, just like nice things that I'm like, oh, I'd love to go and do that. But it was totally different when I was ill. I dreaded empty time because basically I would just use it thinking about food and like counting down until the next time that I could eat, or like planning my food, like okay, if I'm eating this now and I'll have my lunch at that time, so how long is that in between the two, when will I have a snack in there, and if we're having this later, is that quite high in calories, maybe I should miss something out now to make up for that later. I felt like I was always trying to be like productive and busy so that my mind was distracted, and I would write these lists of like what was I going to do at the weekend, basically just to make sure that I was occupied the whole time, kind of just to distract myself from myself really. Like I just didn't want to sit with my own brain. And then as I got better, I lost a lot of that like food obsession, but in a way when it happened it was like quite disconcerting because it was like, well, what do I fill my head and my time with now? But what's really surprised me, like as I've continued to get better, I don't know, it's not like I found something to replace anorexia. I just feel like stuff that I did before, it's the same shit. Like I could have gone and had a bath before, I could have read my book before, I could have played the piano, but I just enjoy it so much more now. I actually quite often wish I had more hours in the day, which is so different to when I was ill. Like I honestly would have deleted hours if I could, especially if it meant my next bit of food came earlier. I've actually got maternity leggings on. They're like the best thing ever, they come up to here. It really honestly scared me getting better and thinking like, what the fuck am I going to fill my time with? It was almost like that void that anorexia left behind. And there was a period where I felt quite uncomfortable, like I wasn't thinking about the eating disorder stuff so much anymore, but I still didn't quite have life to fill its place. I think partly like I did start a couple of new hobbies like the piano, I'm making a patchwork quilt, we've got the dog, I started listening to podcasts. So I did try and bring new things into my life, but mainly I just have found I just almost like naturally enjoy stuff more. And even if it's the exact same activity that I did when I was ill and I do now, like now I want to do stuff that's not food related, whereas when I was ill I couldn't give a shit. Doing things was only for distracting from food and getting through the day, which is so sad.
Yes, I think we've decided to. We've got really like Cassie. Yeah, exactly.
So Bren is still away, he gets back this afternoon, and I just went for breakfast with a group of like mums to be who I met on Facebook, and it was so nice. I'm so glad I did it. Like they're a really nice bunch of girls. I kind of just want to have some friends for like once the baby comes, people who are also on maternity leave and who've also got babies and also trying to figure out what the hell they're doing. I was just trying to make sure I didn't compare to them all as well, like who's got what size bump or how freaking organised people are as well. Like some people have got bought everything, they know everything. I was like, we do not. And then like one girl didn't want breakfast and the girl next to me was ordering like bits on the side, basically like fruit and yogurt with this and that. I don't even know what she was doing, but I was just like, you know what, it's fine, you all do you, I'll do me. Different bodies, different paths. Like, I cannot afford to be fucking about with meals. That's just me on a different path. I've actually had such a nice weekend, and it's so different to how it would have been when I was ill. Like, I've been out for breakfast twice, I got a takeaway, and I do get some thoughts still of like, oh, you should have been using up the food that was in the kitchen, you should have taken something out the freezer, like, you'll have spent more money on food. But yeah, fuck it, so what? I might have spent more money on food than I would have done if I just ate everything at home. I might have had more calories than I would have done if I just prepared everything at home, but like, that's the life I used to live, and I was freaking miserable in it. It was like rigid and boring and isolated, and I was so locked in my own head and thoughts of like, what will I eat when, what will I use up, how much will it cost, how many calories is it, what time will I have it? Like, I didn't have headspace to go out and meet other people and talk to them and enjoy spending time with them and eat the same things that they're eating. So like, even if I get the thoughts sometimes, I just try and block them, really. Do opposites. Focus on the life I ultimately want to live. Even if I don't always want to do it in the minute, and it might feel really hard right now. So try and get a light back on. Oh, there we go. Yeah, like, what life do I ultimately want to live? What person do I ultimately want to be? And at some point I have to do it. Like, that life's not just going to happen on its own. Can't wait until it feels easy, like it never will. At some point, I just think you have to break cycles, go against what your head's telling you, go against what your habits are and what feels like the comfortable option. Because if you take the comfortable option today, you'll have to do it next week, and then next month, and then next year. Before you know it, you're just in eating disorder Groundhog Day. And then you look back on your life and you're like, shit, I never was able to get a takeaway on my own or go to a restaurant and meet friends for breakfast. So even if it's hard, even if you get the thoughts, like I did a bit this weekend when it came to ordering that takeaway, but like, just don't act on them. And I better get home now to see this little dog, but lots of love to everybody.